This is the 35th meeting of the 46th year of Rotary Club of Dublin and Worthington. Today's invocation will be provided by George Norris. George, you're on.
Lord, thank you so much for your presence in our life. We experience your love and grace in the beauty of these spring days. We feel your tender care as we experience the blossoming trees and the colorful flowers. We learned the importance of community during the isolation of this past year. We all felt the need to be with others. Thank you for your guidance throughout the COVID experience. Amen.
And the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and
to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Got that.
It's hard to coordinate those.
Yeah.
Yes. So, President-elect Steve, could you at least introduce, if we have any guests? I don't think outside of the speakers we do, and get happy dollars.
Yes, you guys will have to pardon me. I'm either got a cold or allergies. I can't figure it out at this point, so I'm a little hoarse. But we don't have any guests, so let's just move right into happy dollars.
Well, I have a happy dollar. Actually, I have happy $5 because just a couple of days ago, Mercy and I became great grandparents, our first. Thank you all. Our daughter, Julie, gave birth to Joshua. Joshua married Maggie. And then, of course, as often happens, she gave birth to a 9.5 pounds. So coming by it trait-wise. And everybody is doing well. We don't know yet whether he's a redhead. Josh is, and his name is Oliver Patrick Keegan.
Fantastic, Jerry. Congratulations.
Thank you. You can bill me, Jennifer.
Anybody else?
Got it.
George, go ahead.
Yesterday, I was at Giant Eagle grocery store, and this man walked by and said, "Hello, George." And he had his mask on too, and it was Tom Farwick. And he had open heart surgery 2 weeks ago, and he was walking around in the shopping, and he wanted me to say hello to everybody, but he's really doing well, and so I thought I'd report that.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it, and that's pretty amazing that we've come as a species to the point where you can have open heart surgery and be up and walking around a grocery store 2 weeks later. That's just, I don't know. I'm speechless.
Right.
There's a liquor store in there. I hope he wasn't headed over there.
Well, maybe that's the secret, Jerry. You got to put some liquor on it. Anybody else?
Yes, I get to go to my grandson Austin's signing for Ohio Wesleyan's swimming today. So they do an official signing ceremony here in Dublin, and so we're going to attend at 3 o'clock to watch him sign up for Ohio Wesleyan swimming.
Fantastic. Can I get one more? Anybody else? All right, Sue.
Hi, I am going to visit my daughter. I'm leaving on Friday. She lives in California. We don't see each other nearly often enough. And it'd be the first time I've had Mother's Day with a child for probably 20 years anyway. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, I'm going to look past the sad part of that and just be happy that you get to do it.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, it's not like they don't call me and send me things. It's just that to actually be there in person is going to be special. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah. Thank you. Announcements. I know Mike has an announcement. Mike?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We are scheduled for our Rotary Memorial Golf Outing, May 28th, and it's going to be held at the Glen Ross Golf Club in Delaware. Tee time start at noon. So I'll post a sign-up sheet and try to get as many people as possible to sign up. I think we're right now we have tee times for 20 players, which is normally what we have. But COVID hit last year and we had to cancel everything. So it's be a little bit back to normal for this year, hopefully.
Thank you, Mike. And we can look forward to another opportunity to join with each other. Any other announcements at this point?
Mike, are we raising money through that golf outing? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
That is just just a club outing that is a memorial. We usually memorialize one of our past members in that, but we don't. It's not a fundraiser. It's just a fun outing for our club members.
Gotcha.
And with a big trophy. So get a bunch of folks to sign up. Maybe we'll have somebody to compete with John Jacob for that trophy.
Other announcements? Okay, let's move on to the program, and I would like Joe, could you go ahead with the introduction?
I'd be happy to. I am pleased to introduce Rick Bannister. I'm going to let him introduce some of his area program people who are on our call with us today to also talk about the very interesting and dynamic operations of neighborhood bridges. Rick is a very community-minded, engaged person, and he has created something that many communities really are going to benefit from, and it's a growing organization. It's now in 3 states. I'm not going to tell you what it does. I'm going to let Rick do that, and jump on in. Take it away, Rick.
Joe, thank you. It's good to be with everybody. I see Superintendent Bowers has joined us, and I just want to say good morning and thank you to him. What a great partner we have there. Tremendous leader in leading Worthington schools. I think he's a big believer in neighborhood bridges, and it's just nice to see you. And it's nice to see everyone. I was mentioning earlier, I'm a Rotarian. I'm a member of the Sunrise Club of Westerville, and we are meeting live for the first time right now at the old Bag of Nails in Uptown Westerville. So I had a good excuse because I got to come visit with you. But I've been in Rotary. I joined Rotary 26 years ago in June of 1995, and I love Rotary and all that it stands for. We do have 2 of our area directors who are very important to this club, very important to you, because they lead neighborhood bridges in the communities of Worthington and Dublin. They also happen to be two of our brightest stars. They're amazing people, and they're going to present alongside with me. But I'm going to just go ahead and introduce them. Jill Kranstuber is on here, and Jill is our area director for Dublin Bridges, along with Sarah Savage. And Jill is a two-time Grand Marshal of the Dublin Irish Festival Parade. I'm not sure that anyone else has been a two-time Grand Marshal, but Jill has been. And that's in recognition, I believe, in a large part of her great work with neighborhood bridges. And then also we have Ray Lees with us. Ray is just, I should say, the incomparable Ray Lees. Ray is our area director in Worthington. He lives the model, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Ray works at home and helps and raises 8 adopted children in his home. Incredible, very busy man. And I'll let them tell you about all their great work in Worthington and Dublin in just a minute. But first I'll do a screen share, and I'm going to give you an introduction to neighborhood bridges. So hopefully everybody can see Dr. King on my screen. And so I always start with this slide because I launched it almost 4.5 years ago on Martin Luther King Day, January 2016, and 2017, excuse me. And you know, I chose this day because we are an organization of service, and so we, you know, our mission work is closely aligned with many of the things that he talked about as he led the civil rights movement. So hopefully many of you are familiar with neighborhood bridges. We provide a gateway for kindness. We are a 501c3. We started here in Westerville. I'm a former two-term school board member in Westerville. I was on the board 20 years ago, and I saw the growing need for, in our own community, of kids who had, you know, just basic needs, and were suffering from not being able to participate because of hunger or lack of clothing or inability to pay school fees or having a bed or any of those kinds of things. So we launched Neighborhood Bridges about 4.5 years ago. I did that, and at the same time, and remember, I'm a Rotarian and a former school board member, so I'm kind of active in Westerville, and this was just a gut feeling of mine that Neighborhood Bridges was needed to engage our communities in supporting the youth of our community. And so I sent a business plan to the Columbus Foundation, and they called me and said, when can you have coffee? And so I met them right about the time I was launching, and they said, how fast can you grow? And I said, okay, that's interesting. I thought you were going to try and talk me out of this. And they presented this slide to me. This was testimony given by the Brookings Institute at the very same time we were launching Neighborhood Bridges, and the testimony was addressing the growth of poverty in suburban America. And so this is year 2000, and this extends almost to 2016. And this dark blue line, this is the growth of poverty in suburban America. So what I was feeling in my gut, the Columbus Foundation was illustrating to me through congressional testimony, and so we were eager to get going. So here's our mission statement. My board, at my request, I asked them last year to help me update our mission statement and really become more intentional with our mission. And so they helped create this, and I'm very proud of it. But our mission is to bridge communities with schools in providing basic needs, removing barriers, and seeking equity for students so they can engage and succeed in school and life. So pretty basic stuff. What I would say to Superintendent Bowers and others, great partners that we have, is we just want to make sure that kids come to their wonderful school buildings every day, because we know that's where the magic happens. If the kids can come to school every day and really engage in their schoolwork, that's where the magic happens, and that's where dreams become reality. So that's our specifically what we are here to address. So it's really simple. I should add, I've run 7 school levy campaigns in my lifetime, and I've also run a total of 15 campaigns in the Westerville community, and so I'm very much aware of how, you know, the value of engaging a community. So this is what we do with Neighborhood Bridges. We engage community members, businesses, service organizations in driving specific solutions to impact students and families in need. It's just very simple. We are a social justice charity. We're all about eliminating barriers and providing equity, increase engagement, and standing for hope and opportunity and inclusion, and again, equity. We know in almost 4.5 years that this works. There's an ample supply of kindness in our communities to help us achieve these goals. So real quickly, this is our kindness scorecard, upper left. This is through 4 years as we've grown Neighborhood Bridges out to serve now 34 communities in Ohio, Alabama, and Tennessee. And we're going to be adding a community in Missouri very soon. But we've got, at the time, almost 50,000 email subscribers. At the end of the year, our 4th year, we had filled almost 3,200 needs. And we had directed $2.2 million in giving. And that's from startup, that's from nothing. And this is the most important number of all. We've been able to direct, through your support, we've been able to directly impact 148,000 students and families in need. So the little line graph on the right shows you our growth at Neighborhood Bridges, and this is defined with impact. So we were very, very excited about our first 3 years. Heading into 2020, we had impacted 32,500 students in 3 years, and we thought that was unbelievable. And then COVID hit. And Jill and Ray will tell you, I was scared to death of our ability to serve during the COVID period, during the lockdown period. But our amazing people found ways to collaborate and partner with local school districts, and look at our impact line. Look at what happened last year. So Jill and Ray will share, I think, some stories with you about that. So just to kind of give you some context of what we've been able to do, Dublin provided weekly snack bags in 2020 to students in need. Amazing program. I got to play a small role in that. Ray obtained grant money from the city of Worthington, I believe, and collaborated with a women's group of Worthington to actually make handmade masks for students coming back to school. We provided hundreds of Wi-Fi hotspots for students and families in Westerville. We provided weekly groceries to families in needs in our communities of Gahanna, Sycamore, which is in northern Cincinnati, Boaz, and Hoover, Alabama. We provided in Upper Arlington meal and grocery delivered to homebound people, and I think both Ray and Jill supported that, and Sarah in Worthington and Dublin. We provided graduation gift card bags to homeless students and those in need last year when they were graduating with no graduation ceremonies live. And so we wanted to reach out to them in the communities of Westerville and Worthington and Dublin and New Albany and Lebanon. We've delivered more than 400 beds and appliances, pieces of furniture to those in need. And I can tell you that we've now donated 22 cars, received 22 cars that we've placed with single moms and young adults and families in need. And this includes 2 that Ray Lee's just made happen over the last 10 days in the community of Worthington. So one of the best parts of Neighborhood Bridges is there's nothing top down about it. This is designed to meet the needs and rally the resources locally. So, Westerville, Worthington, and Dublin are all wonderful communities, but we're different. The kids have different needs. The resources are different. Everything. So here's a snapshot just comparing Worthington to Dublin. And you can see that the shapes are different. Ray did a whole lot more in cash donations than Dublin did. Dublin, because of the food, the weekly snack thing really drove up a COVID response that was our highest of any neighborhood bridges community. And you can see here in pink, gift cards are a little bit higher than they are in Worthington, but on the supply side, Ray has his percentages a little bit high in supplies than the. So the importance of this is that this is managed locally to support the students in your communities and bridge with local resources. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Jill, and then we'll go to Ray, because really they need to tell you their stories, because this is what you're supporting through the Rotary Club there in Dublin and Worthington. So Jill, take it away.
Well, good morning. And I think Sarah wanted to be on with us, but she is shuffling kids back and forth to the buses and whatnot. But so I have to start by saying that when Sarah Savage and I were both PTO presidents in Dublin for different schools, and we were sitting at our monthly PTO presidents meeting, and Rick came in and presented to us about Dublin or neighborhood bridges. And right away, I thought, oh, we need this. We really need this. And just listening to his enthusiasm, I think Rick could probably talk people into doing anything. So we fell for it. And right away, it just was like, I want to do this. And we really had no idea at the time the type of impact it would have on our community. People would say this is something that Dublin doesn't need, and that's just not true. The Dublin City School District is very large and encompasses so many different communities or types of communities, but I do want to say that we have met needs in every single school in the Dublin City School District. So it's not one area or the other, it's needed all over. So we were really excited to launch it. And I want to give a shout out to Alan Grossman, who is on our steering committee and has been since the launch. And Alan, I always like to think of Alan, he's like the voice of reason. He's the smartest guy. He sees things from different perspectives. So we always appreciate Alan. And I also want to give a big shout out to the Dublin Worthington Rotary, because you guys have helped us numerous times with numerous needs. And you're really an important partner to us in our community. As Rick mentioned, COVID kind of threw us for a loop. We were just daily meeting needs that guidance counselors and organizations would bring to us. And just kind of going with the flow, and all of a sudden COVID hit, and the needs really changed in our community. A lot of kids and families were really struggling. It's tough to stay home. You can ask Ray about this. Tough to stay home with all those kids and do homeschooling. And we just wanted to think about what we could do to fill in the gaps and to help the kids. So while we were still getting these same needs for furniture and assistance with pay-to-play fees or things like that, just the normal, we had people who were really, really struggling in our community. And the Dublin City Schools, as you know, did a great job with providing free breakfast and lunch to the students. But one thing that most of, I think, the neighborhood bridges, but Dublin specifically has, we have something called personal care pantries in each school in Dublin, in every single school. And these provide socks and underwear, personal care items, deodorant, shampoos, toothbrushes, those kinds of things. And they're really, most of ours are in the guidance counselor's office or in the nurse's office. They might be socks and different items that they need during the day for kids. But the main thing that we replenished mostly were the snacks. A lot of the nurses and guidance counselors told us that they used these snacks to send home with the kids because the meals they got in school were the only meals they had during the day. So those are really important to us. And we realized right away that that was going to be a missing link kind of in this children not being in school and what they wouldn't have access to. So we decided to follow the Dublin school buses and go to the schools where they were handing out these free breakfasts and lunches every Friday with these snack bags that had, they were pretty big. And Rick can tell you how big they were because Rick helped me get the supplies every week with the van. And it was quite an operation. And it was a little bit of Laurel and Hardy every week, but we always had some sort of mishap, like dumping an entire cart of snacks in the GFS parking lot and blocking some poor woman in. And but we had a great time doing it. But these bags held about $10 worth of snacks, and it was like macaroni and cheese to applesauce and granola bars and things like that, so that the kids could have these over the weekend and at night. And we ended up spending almost $50,000 in doing these during that time. And we never had a problem paying for it because of the generosity of our community. And that's kind of what I think the theme in all of Neighborhood Bridges is, just our generous communities. I always like to say that Dublin is the most generous community. I know Ray will argue with me and Rick will argue with me, but you know, it's all of you that really make it possible for us to do what we do. People will give us credit, but it's something we really can't do without your assistance. And specifically even Rotary, I know we're working on something right now with a wheelchair need with the Dublin Worthington Rotary. So, you know, we really can't thank you guys enough, but just having people spread the word about us, getting more people to sign up to receive our emails and follow us on social media is super important. And we would definitely ask that of you. If you want to follow us, we're at Dublin Bridges, either on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And if you go to our Neighborhood Bridges website, you can see all the communities. Dublin's the best, you should pick us, but but we appreciate you all, and just want you to know there's so much need out there in the community. It's not lessening. COVID's changing, things will change, but if you follow us, you'll be able to see the types of needs and how much our kids really rely on us and the schools rely on us and how much we rely on the community. So thank you. And thank you, Rick, for convincing Sarah and I to do this. I don't know if my husband thanks him all the time, but you know.
So Ray, do you want to take over and talk about where?
I will start now. So I will say that just like Jill, I learned about Rick through the PTA. So I know that Paul's on here. I was the president of Worthington PTA a few years ago, and Rick made a pitch to bring bridges to Worthington, and so I volunteered, and it's been a wonderful experience. So I do want to make sure I say thank you to the foundation for helping us. Because one of the things that we exist to do is to fill in the gaps at Bridges. So we do not want to leave the food pantry, but we certainly help with food sometimes. There are other resources that are available throughout the community that we try to push people to first before we really take advantage of our subscribers. So the Dublin Worthington Rotary Foundation has been something that we've used in the past. So sometimes we suggest that counselors or principals talk to Mr. Gerard or Mr. Mosca, that are on the foundation board, to make sure that they can get they can get the information they need, and sometimes you guys are able to fund something that is needed in the community. Now, sometimes it works the opposite way, where there's an immediate need that is very time sensitive, and so we've stepped in to fill in gaps there too. Rick told about our car situation. We've had 2 students in the Worthington district recently who have come forward to their counselor and said that they are sort of they're struggling, they're trying to work, they're trying to move on with life. Neither one of them had parental support. So we talked to a couple of people about them needing their cars. One person had was here in my neighborhood, had been trying to sell their car, and they had not had any success. I called them and said, hey, I have a student who could use the car. I told them a little bit about the student, and we convinced them that this would be a good thing. So we were able to give the student a car, and that way he can continue to work. And he is now living on his own independently, and I think it's a positive thing. The other young lady that we gave a car to had was also living independently from her family. She had been living with her cousin, and her cousin was leaving town. So we needed to make sure that we can, sorry, your connection is very slow. Okay, sorry, I'm going to move. To see if this helps.
Hey, Ray, I turned off your camera just to try and help with some of the audio delay.
I'm going to keep talking to see if it's working. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for just a second. The young lady that okay, I think I'm back on. The young lady that we helped was in tears that people that she didn't even know would help her. And I think that was really cool for her to realize there were people who were on her side to make sure after graduation she could continue her journey on to college. Rick, give me the thumbs up that it's working better now. All right. I also will make sure I wanted to say thank you to the city of Worthington. I saw Rachel Dorothy is on. We had 2. Okay, cool. I also moved closer to our Wi-Fi hotspot to see if that helped too. So thanks for doing that. I was saying about the city of Worthington. We have received 2 grants from the city of Worthington, which are very helpful for our students here. The first one, we received a grant so we could help with utility bills. And so we do have a lot of families who are struggling to pay utilities. So we are working through the schools mostly principals and counselors who reach out to me who say that people are having trouble paying their utilities, and we're able to use some of that grant money for them, up to $500 per family, to help. We're also doing some really exciting things in terms of mental health. We have grants for families who are struggling paying for mental health services. And so we have given some families some assistance that way. And we're also working with the schools to put some packages together for students that are like homing packets. They can take it into their classroom and have something, like fidgets, etc., to play with. That way that they can keep their mind active and hopefully moving forward. So we are very grateful to the City of Worthington for those 2 grants as well. So I saw Mrs. Best, Dr. Bowers. We really appreciate everything that the school does, the counselors, the principals. We're really excited that anytime that there's a need, that they reach right out to us, and we try our best to fill it. We're very lucky here in Worthington. We've only had 1 need that went unfilled. And the rest of the time, our community comes through, and as Jill said, we have a very wonderful community. I can put out the need, or sometimes I can call a few friends and say, we have something that needs to be taken care of, and we can get it done pretty quickly. And that is what we're known to do, is to help as quickly as we can to solve the needs that would go unmet if we didn't exist. So, Rick, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Ray and Jill. And, hopefully you got a great feel for the tremendous work that our communities are doing. And I can tell you that just in Dublin and Worthington alone, we supported almost $300,000. Muted.
Sorry about that. I was trying to mute Ray, showing that he's muted, but we can still hear him. It's kind of odd.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to say that we thank Ray and Jill for the great work that they're doing. We also thank Superintendent Bowers, who's on here, for the relationship we have in Worthington. Worthington and Dublin are 2 of our greatest, highest performing communities. Together, they directed about $300,000 in direct giving last year through neighborhood bridges. That's a lot. That's a lot of resources going to students and families in need. So we're very grateful about that. And the last thing I want to tell you, just 2 more quick things, is that
Connie, are you streaming anything?
our model, Ray, can we get you to mute? Is there any way you can mute your? There we go. The final 2 things I will say to you is that Neighborhood Bridges is volunteer driven in every community. So our administrative expenses, we support all of our communities through a small staff of basically about 2.5 full-time employees, and providing technology. And so we work hand in glove with school social workers and counselors who really run the playbook for us. They tell us what needs they're seeing in the schools specifically, and then we act on it. We engage you to solve those needs. And so it's a very simple prescription, and one that I think both the Worthington and Dublin communities have responded to very favorably. So we have thousands of people following us in both communities. If you're not following us, I highly recommend you go to neighborhoodbridges.org, select Worthington and Dublin, enter your email, follow us on Facebook. I guarantee it'll add happiness to your day. I just guarantee it, because we show the things that are being donated. I'm not sure if you caught the stories about Ray and the 2 cars that he bridged, but to 2 adult students who are getting ready to graduate from Worthington, and one escaping an abusive home setting and getting out of there. It's amazing stuff. So we appreciate you, appreciate your time. And President Jim, I'd be happy, and I know Jill or Ray, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions? I noticed that, Alan, you had mentioned that our foundation has a regular relationship and does a lot of the funding of the projects.
Yes, you guys are a great partner for us. We really appreciate you.
Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to say I hopped on Facebook and I'm now following you. So I saw a couple of heads go down when you said that. So I think there are probably some other people on here who've done that, and we'll get on the email list too. Thank you so much, Rick, and everybody else.
Thank you. And, you know, I just want to make one final point that 100% of what you donate to neighborhood bridges, whether it's in Worthington or Dublin, stays in that community. We have launched a model I'm very proud of. And so, you know, we've been able to live to that business model for every day since we started. So that's an important message, I think, just to share with you. So, you know, it really worked. We're very grateful, and we thank you for your time today.
I have a question for Ray, and that is, what school in the Worthington school system would you say needs the most care?
Okay, you guys hear me?
Yes.
I moved again.
No, we can.
Oh, great. So probably the school that we interact with most are children that come from the Slate Hill area. Now, some of them, we do have a really good relationship with the Slate Hill principal, but as those kids move through the system, I know that the principals at Worthing Way and at Thomas Worthington also send us to some of the families there to make sure that they're being taken care of. So it's sort of like that northeast quadrant of Worthington that we really focus on.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, I know, you know, Jill mentioned in her presentation that they pretty much serve every area of Dublin, and I think that's probably true in Worthington and also in Westerville, by the way. You know, there's all three of our high schools and all of our middle schools and all of our elementaries are very busy, and we in Westerville also do personal care pantries in all of our schools, like Jill does, and Ray does a lot of that in Worthington as well.
Any other questions? I have one, Rick, and that is that do you do follow up at a year or 2 years with the families that you've assisted?
We haven't, and that's a great question. One of the things that we've built into this model for the coming year is follow up with the advocates. And the reason I'm saying that, Jim, is it's a great question. We oftentimes don't know who we're serving. Everything is kept 100% confidential. So in Jill and Ray's case, in my case in Westerville, we work on the prescription of the teacher or the counselor or the social worker or the principal who is advocating for a family or student in need. So they have that relationship, and we leverage the trust that's been built there in that relationship. So oftentimes we don't know who we're serving, and we certainly never let the community know. But actually, on our side, we don't know either. So we are building in a process this coming year to do some follow up with our advocates to just check on how are things, how is this turning out, what did we do right, what did we do wrong, what additional needs are out there, those kinds of things. So we have built in that data collection period or model for our advocates.
Okay.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
For Jill, I just received notification that our board has approved that need. I'll be reaching out to you today for some details on it.
Thank you. You guys are so great. We really, really value our partnership. Thank you, Alan, and value Alan because he's awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, I think we can move on to talking about next week. It will be our second hybrid meeting, and everyone should have received a registration last night. If you didn't, please email me and we'll figure out why you may not. But please do register one way or the other regarding the meeting in the morning next Wednesday. That registration is for meals, for coffee, whether you'll be on Zoom or whether or not you'll be able to attend at all. I encourage everyone to do that by noon on Friday. That way we can get an accurate meal count for Trillium. It will be a breakfast buffet. Again, we will start welcoming people at 7:15 and encourage you to socialize between then and 7:30, along with picking up your meal or coffee when you arrive. You do not have to come to the meal in person, but we certainly encourage it if you can. And Zoom will be available for members for whatever reason that cannot attend in person. And again, the speaker will be checking on and get back with everyone regarding the speaker. So please do fill out the survey. It's very quick. I prefer that you try to do that before contacting me because I end up with quite a few emails this past week, and we need to get a meal count to the Trillium. So please do that by Friday. So in closing, next week, again, we hope that we'll get Molly Siebel, and Teresa will let us know on that. The four-way, but in closing, we'll do the four-way test. And I would like all members who can unmute themselves will make an attempt to be in unison, but know that perfection is not possible. And of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it
the truth?
Second,
is it fair to all concerned?
Third,
will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Well, it was good to see
be
many
beneficial to all.
have not been able to attend for a little bit, and hopefully we will again have a hybrid meeting. And I encourage everyone who can, please do attend in person. It is it was very nice to have the personal contact last week. So we'll see you then. And we'll keep announcing when we have virtual versus in-person meetings, but I expect that we will be continuing with that as we move along. Thank you very much. If you would like to stick on and socialize after this meeting, please feel to stay on.
Thank you.
Oh, Tara, oops, I just missed Tara. It's okay. Roger, what, were you on a carrier? Helicopter carrier? As a oh, you're muted. Can you unmute? You're still unmuted. Let me see if I can. Roger?
Yeah.
You actually assigned to a carrier?
No, I was not on I was in the Army.
Oh, oh, okay. I thought you might have been Navy helicopter. My father-in-law was a navigator and commander in the Navy, and he spent a lot of time on a
Wow.
helicopter carrier. So just wondered. But you were in the Army, not the Navy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was a spook.
You were a spook. Well, that's good. Well, you have a good week. Unless, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Talking to me, Jim?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, have a good week and see you next week, hopefully. Take care.